We are going to use some common units of measure today to convert different rates. We are going to use unit ratios, and a lot like unit rates, unit ratios are a ratio of two measurements with the denominator of 0. So for example, some examples of unit ratios. 12 inches for 1 foot. Okay, there's 12 inches in a foot. This is a unit. Essentially, 12 inches is 1 foot, so this is equivalent to 1, if you think about it that way. We can say that there's 16 ounces in 1 pound. We can also say that there is 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So these are all examples of unit ratios where we're just comparing two different types of rates. And we're going to go through some examples now so I can show you how this will come in handy. You take out your Convert Rates worksheet. Number 1 says, how could you find the number of pints in 1 gallon? We have a little key over here. We have that there's 4 quarts in a gallon and 1 quart in 2 pints. So to convert gallons to pints, all we can do here is, well, we can set up a ratio saying that there's 4 quarts in 1 gallon. I'm just using the abbreviations. And then what I can do is I can multiply this by the 2 pints that are in 1 quart. Okay, if you remember cross simplification, what we're doing here when we multiply, we can actually use our units. This is called dimensional analysis, and we can cancel out a quart divided by a quart. That cancels out. Now we have 4 times 2 will give us 8 pints. Pints is the only unit left in the numerator per 1 gallon. Now I wrote over this next one a little bit, but how could you find the number of inches in 1 yard? So if we look here, we know that there's 12 inches in a foot. There's 3 feet in a yard. So again, we can do the same thing here. We can say, start with there's 3 feet per every 1 yard. And if we want to multiply that by 12 inches for every 1 foot, we can multiply our 3 times 12 is 36. When we look at our units here, feet cancel, feet divided by feet cancel, and then we're just left with 36 inches per 1 yard. Now the next one says a remote control car travels at a rate of 10 feet per second. How many inches per second is this? So the first thing we need to do in this problem is pull out the rate. Right here, 10 feet per second, and I want to write that as a rate. So I am going to write 10 feet per second. Okay, and now I want to change this into inches per second. I don't need to do anything with my seconds, I just need to change feet to inches. So I'm going to multiply this by a unit ratio, and again we know that there's 12 inches in every foot. So I am going to multiply this by 12 inches per 1 foot. It's very important for me to keep my dimensions in here so that I can go ahead and I can cancel out my feet. What I'm left with is 10 times 12, 120 inches per, only thing left on the numerator is the seconds. Now I just want to check and make sure I have this rate. Is this the rate they're looking for? I have inches per second, and it is. So looking at number 4, a swordfish can swim at a rate of 150 miles per hour. I first need to pull out this rate here and write this down here. 150 miles per hour. How many miles per minute is this? So what I need to do here is I need to change hours to minutes. I can use a unit rate. I know that in 1 hour, there's 60 minutes. So now if I go ahead and I look at this dimensional analysis, my hours can cancel, hour divided by hour. All I'm left with on the numerator is 150 miles per every 60 minutes. Now I can go ahead here, I can simplify this. I can plug this into my calculator or do long division here. If I take 150 and divide it by 60, I'm going to get 2.5 miles per minute. And number 5, Marvin walks at a speed of 7 feet per second. This is my rate right here. I'm going to write 7 feet per second. How many feet per hour is this? So I'm looking to change these seconds into hours. I'm going to multiply this by a unit ratio here, seconds. So I know that there's 60 seconds in 1 minute. I can cross off my seconds, and I can see here that once I figure this out, I'm going to have feet per minute. But that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for feet per hour, so I need to keep going here. I need to take and multiply this by another unit ratio. So I know that, again, there's 60 minutes in 1 hour. Now my minutes have canceled, and I have 7 times 60 times 60, not minutes, sorry. What am I doing here? There's that. Feet. Oh, I have to go all the way back here for my unit. Feet per hour. 7 times 60 times 60. If you plug this into your calculator, you're going to get 25,200 feet per hour. Now, I encourage you right now to pause this video and try 6 and 7 on your own. Okay, hopefully you had a chance to try 6 and 7 here. What I'm going to do is go through these. An oil tanker empties at a rate, or that doesn't say rate, I added that in there, 4.5 gallons per minute. Convert this rate to cups per minute. Okay, so I need to go all the way back up to that first thing. I need to look at this here. There's 16 cups in 1 gallon. Remember that? So I need right here to write 16 cups per 1 gallon. You can see here I can cross off my gallons. Gallons divided by gallons cancel out. I'm going to take 4.5, multiply it by 16. That's going to give me 189 cups per minute. And then number 7, the average speed of one team in a relay race is about 8.4 miles per hour. What is the speed in miles per minute? Okay, so if you're using abbreviations here, I need to be very careful because MI I'm using for miles, MIN I typically use for minutes. So again, I need to multiply this by a unit ratio here. And what we have, we know that in 1 hour, there's 60 minutes. So if I look, there should be a multiplication sign right here. If I look at this, my hours cancel out. And I'm left with 8.4 miles for every 60 minutes. Now I can take my numbers here, plug those into my calculator. 8.4 divided by 60 gives me 0.14 miles per minute. And that is my answer.